Hello, I'm Beth the Builder, and this week I have a DIY review of making your own paper from other paper, recycling paper, whatever, you know. If you know, you know. It is not early, but I am tired. Drink some coffee. Okay, so this DIY review is for taking paper, any kind of paper, and creating new paper from it. So like junk mail, scraps of paper, newspaper, etc., and making it into new paper. That's what this is. And I saw this at some point and I was like, that looks interesting. I'm gonna try it because I got all the shit for it. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is get a mold and deckle, or you can build one, and that's what I did. So all you need is 2 frames. You can just use like picture frames, and one of them needs to have like mesh on it, some kind of mesh. So I used like window screen. Stapled that on one. The other, this isn't necessary, but it was recommended on some of the blogs and the pictures I saw. To put some kind of seal around the other one so that when they go together, they kind of create like a good seal so your watery paper kind of stays in between them. I used just like a rubber seal that goes around like doors or windows or whatever for insulation. I used that. It was really easy. So that's all you need. That's the only like specific thing. The other things that you need are like a big tub and like a blender or something to like mulch up your paper. So, and that's it. And then you can paper make. All right, and then you need to find a bunch of shitty paper. In this video, the first round that I did of this, it was a lot of newspaper that I had, and then just some junk mail. There were some pieces of like bright neon green paper, and that's why my paper is actually a little bit greener, which is fine, I don't care. And what you do is you tear up all your paper into like about 1-inch pieces, and you put it in a bunch of water, submerge it, and then you just let it soak. So I have another batch right now that's soaking, and it'll be, by the time I get to it, it'll be like over a day, but I mean, a few hours, overnight, whatever. And then you put that paper in a blender, and you blend it. Blend it all up until there's no pieces of paper. And what I found was really helpful was to do less at a time and then add lots of water to it. So that worked. And then you get a big tub. I used a, you know, like a storage bin, and you dump all your mulched up paper in there, you put a bunch of water in there, and then you're ready to make some paper. The more, let's see how this goes. Okay, the more water to paper, the thinner your pieces of paper will be. And the other way around, if there's more mulched up paper than there is water, the thicker it'll be. So I started out pretty thick and then I added more water because, yeah, it's just preference. Oh, I think I forgot to mention how you actually sieve the paper. Okay, so you take your mold and deckle, you put the non-mesh frame on top of the meshed frame. Okay, and then you take it and you put it in the water. And then you shake it around. And then you pull it out. And you let a lot of the water drain. That's it. It's not complicated. The other thing you need to think about before you start sieving your mulched up paper is like how you're gonna dry it. So you need something flat, like a large flat surface. I have two janky mirrors that had fallen off of a wall and I have not hung them because I don't care about them. So I laid them on the ground and I used them as a flat surface for my paper to dry on. So that's just one way you can do it. You can just free form, like let them dry like naturally. I don't know, like it's wet paper. Like, you know, how would you dry wet paper? It seems like there's a lot of like complicated methods, like dabbing it with a sponge. It's like, why do you need to do that? Or like, you know, layering them on paper towels. Like, I don't know why that would be necessary. And also it's just like a waste of paper towels, because I used, just to like get the paper to the flat surface, I used like big towels to like flip the paper out onto. And I went through like 4 of those and then some small ones as well. So like, it's definitely a wet process. So I don't think paper towels is your best bet. So yeah, I just used a flat surface and I essentially just let the paper dry on its own. I still have one big sheet because I ended up partway through building another mold and deckle that was bigger because I had so much paper that I was like, I'm gonna be here like for hours doing this because I have so much paper, and I didn't realize, I just didn't know how much I needed. So yeah, I would say when you're beginning, like less is more. Like start with a little bit and do that and see what you like and see how it goes, and then do a bigger batch, because I did the opposite and I was like, this is gonna take me forever. So I quick built another one partway through, and then I could just do these big sheets of paper, which was kind of nice. I don't know what I'm gonna use them for. Like, I literally don't have a plan for this paper. I just wanted to try it and see how it goes. But this DIY project was really easy. Like, it really just was, it's kind of wet. Like, you know, do it somewhere where you don't care that there's water on the floor, or get some towels or something. But otherwise, it was really easy. The mold and deckle is the only thing that you really need that's like specific to this project. And maybe a blender if you don't have a blender. I don't know. You can get a blender at like a thrift shop for like $2 or $4 or something. So I just let my paper dry like naturally. I didn't weight it down or anything like that. I think this next trial I'm gonna do, I am going to put something heavy on it, because yeah, I want it to be a little bit smoother, and then as it dries, it kind of starts to like, I don't know, like wrinkle up. So that's where I think weighting it would be nicer. Yeah, because almost all of my pieces are like really wrinkly. So that's what I'm thinking to do, is to weight it down somehow. I don't have a good plan for that yet, but that's what I'm thinking to do, because yeah, all of my pieces were, yeah, pretty wrinkly by the time they were dried, which took probably 3 days. For sure 2 days for the smaller pieces, and there's still actually 1 or 2 pieces that were pretty thick and they're still drying. Something I experimented with, that's why in this video my water is green, is I put food coloring in my water, because I was curious about if that would like color the paper, which like it didn't really, somewhat, I think. If I put the food coloring right on the mulched up paper as I was doing it, then it kind of did. I saw another thing about after I did this, and it was paint, using like acrylic paints in there, which makes a lot more sense of that would work to dye the mulched up paper. So I think I might try that. I also saw like using like natural dyes like orange peels and onion skins, flowers, weeds, etc., like using stuff like that. And then you can also get like, you know, you can mess around with like putting like flowers in the paper and stuff like that. I don't know, you know, just experiment, do whatever you want. It's your paper. Yeah, I don't have a plan for this. I just wanted to try it because it interests me. You know, recycling things, like reusing to make something new. I think it's kind of an interesting crafty project. I thought it was kind of cool. I enjoyed doing it. It wasn't hard. It took me like, you know, an evening, essentially, like a few hours. I would say do it. Beth recommends it. Why not? Fuck around with it. It wasn't hard, you know. I think everyone would probably have these things. Paper, you know, buying or making a mold and deckle isn't hard. A big tub, you know, etc. That's stuff that most people are gonna have. So yeah, I would say do it. Mess around with making your paper, making recycled paper. They make kind of fun, like making like cards, making like little journals, making like gift tags, stuff like that. Little framed artwork with like a pressed flower in it, like, you know, stuff like that. If that's not your jam, that's okay. Like, you can do whatever you want with your paper. You can, you know, write you on it. I have links below of where you can find more of me, where you can support me, etc. Leave me a comment, like, dislike, etc. Subscribe if you want more honest home repair and DIY reviews. I have new videos every Friday, and thanks for watching.